Hello everyone and welcome! Today I'm really hyped to announce that we're finally going to do a Pokemon Yellow playthrough with a theme-based team. The theme for this team is a completely pink Pokemon team. So, just to elaborate, in the end, every single Pokemon in my team is going to have the color pink as its main scheme. And I immediately decided to skip ahead a bit because I had captured a couple of really cool moments in this game, among which the trick for Pikachu to become happy, so you can get a Bulbasaur in this game early. But since that's not really relevant to the team that we're trying to create, I decided to skip that bit and skip right ahead. What we're going to be looking for is a Mankey, because before we can even catch our first pink Pokemon of the day, we need to get past Brock and his Rock-type Pokemon, and we need to get to Mount Moon where we can catch a Clefairy. So we're going to catch a Mankey and train it until it becomes level 9. So Mankey learns Low Kick, which will be a helpful tool for us to get past Brock's Geodude and Brock's Onix. Next up, we need to move through Viridian Forest, and since I haven't leveled up the Pikachu and the Mankey all that much, this is going to sound silly, but it's still going to be a bit of a challenge, because a lot of Metapods and Caterpies used by trainers are either level 6 or higher, and it's still a bit of a struggle to get past them. Especially the next Caterpie that we will face, which will be level 10. Pikachu is rather low, so we're going to try and get paralysis on the Caterpie. Pikachu will probably faint, and Mankey will have to finish the job. And the Pikachu faints. That's sad. So, when it comes to a decent fighting Pokemon in Gen 1, I think that Mankey and Primeape get a bit of a bad rap. I mean, I understand where this is coming from, because in Generation 1, a lot of trainers use strong, fast Psychic types. For example, Alakazam, which outspeeds and one-shots Primeape. But I also see some benefits to using the Primordial Ape. For example, it has decent fighting moves, it learns Karate Chop, which can crit. Crit is also not a bad mechanic in Generation 1. And begin game, with the first couple of badges, Mankey can actually surprise you and take out opponents that other Pokemon struggle with. So, I think it's not as bad a Pokemon as people make it out to be. It's not brilliant, but it doesn't, to use that kind of phrase, suck as much as people claim it does. Of course, we're only going to use the Mankey to try and get past Brock and try and get us into Mount Moon. So right now, the objective is to train Mankey a little bit more, get it to level 9 so it learns Low Kick, and once we start adding more and more pink Pokemon to the team, we will probably box the Mankey, and we might even box the Pikachu sooner rather than later. In Pokemon Red and Blue, the first pink Pokemon that's available to you is a Jigglypuff, which is in the brush after the part where we get past all the trainers with the Caterpies to the right of Pewter City. And when we face the trainer with the Jigglypuff, that patch of grass has Jigglypuff in it. Unfortunately, this is Pokemon Yellow, and they changed it so that there is no Jigglypuff spawn there. Jigglypuff spawns at Route 5 or 8, which is just below Cerulean City near the daycare center. So our first actual option to get a pink Pokemon is in fact Clefairy, which is why up until this point we haven't been able to catch a Pokemon that fits the theme of our team. Okay, so Mankey is now level 9, it's learned Low Kick, which means that we are going to drop by the Pokemon Center to heal up, get into the Pewter City gym, skip the guy with the Sandshrew, and immediately start the fight with Brock. We're still relatively low level. Pikachu hasn't been leveled much. Our highest level is a level 9 Mankey, so this is still a bit of a risk, which involves using a lot of predictions. For example, switching in and out of bind moves, or switching into Onix using Bide. Well, let's see how that goes. So we face off against one of my personal favorites as far as gym leaders go, Brock. Brock starts off with his Geodude, I start off with the Mankey, and we're gonna see if the Mankey will come in clutch. One of the first things we actually see is that Geodude hits us with a tackle, which crits, which kind of gave me a little bit of worry there, but Mankey comes out in fine style and finishes off the Geodude. In Generation 1, any type of bind move can lock you in permanently if you're not faster. But if you switch out, you interrupt the effect. So that basically means that both turns start from scratch. Which is why Onix uses Bide shortly after locking into bind. And Pikachu gets a couple of free tail whips off. After a couple of tail whips, I figure a switch might help, and Low Kick might deal a good chunk of damage. So I'm betting on the Low Kick to pull us through in this fight. Unfortunately, it doesn't take Onix out. It does a good deal of damage, but we still have to switch to be careful and conserve the Mankey. And this is where I feel that Mankey is in range for the finish, but Brock predicts, uses bind before I can do anything, and I have to switch out again. After the double switch, another bind, another prediction by Brock, so I have to switch out again. I even misclick and make a bad prediction using Thundershock, which of course doesn't work. Brock is putting us under a lot of pressure. And now with the Bide in its second turn of charging, we can use the Low Kick to finish off Onix, because in this gen Bide has negative priority, meaning that we can outspeed a higher level Pokemon. And that is the boulder badge. Nice! Nice. Time to move on to the part with all the trainers to the right of Pewter City, where we have to get through to get to Mount Moon. So as the intense music starts playing, we start to face off against our first opponent. We're going to try and get past this guy, try and survive a couple of more dudes, and get to the Pokemon Center near Mount Moon as quickly as possible. But that might turn out to be a tricky thing. And here is the precise point where I make the mistake of thinking I can avoid the trainer to the left, which I totally can't. So I'm heading into this fight with a low HP Pokemon, and, well, basically, rip. And there you have it, we get bodied by a Caterpie, FML, and we start back at the Pokemon Center. Yet now, vengeance is burning inside of us as we move back towards the trainer who ambushed us while we were suffering, out of breath, on low HP, clamoring for a Pokemon Center, and we will wreak our revenge. Metapod stares at us intensely, but Pikachu has already fried the Caterpie before him, and Pikachu will also fry this Metapod as well. Revenge. And the large patch of grass below us is normally where you can catch the Jigglypuff, as I mentioned before a couple of minutes ago, but unfortunately in yellow that's not the case. So this fight with this trainer it just feels like she's rubbing our face into it. Like, ha ha, I've got a Jigglypuff, but you can't find one here. Sucks to be you. So, well, we beat her, and we move on to the Pokemon Center near Mount Moon. As you can tell, I'm using a lot of switching in and switching out, where Pikachu uses Thunder Wave and then Mankey finishes off the opponent with a couple of low kicks. This is the best thing to go for at this point, until I fill up the team with more Pokemon that we're actually going to use. When that time comes, I'm going to dive more deeply into movesets and combos and fun things to use while playing through Pokemon Yellow. We heal up, and then we go inside. We're avoiding this trainer who has a Clefairy, and as we do so, we try to avoid as many trainers as possible. Moving up to the hiker to the top left of this room. There's also a moonstone which we're picking up in a bit, and when we move down the ladder, that'll be one of the spots where we can encounter a Clefairy. Another spot to possibly find a Clefairy is the ladder that we're passing just now. Down that flight of stairs, there's a rocket. Nobody knows what he's doing there. And there's also the TM Mega Punch. For now, I'm skipping that, and I'm moving up ahead. And during the next episode, I will probably backtrack a bit, and also use some trainers that I skipped to get the Clefairy that I'm aiming to catch as much XP as possible. When Zubat hits Supersonic, it's time to run. Right, so we're in the tunnel where we're going to catch the Clefairy. As soon as this clip speeds up, I would like you to count how many Pokemon you see before we actually encounter the Clefairy, and post the number of Pokemon in the comments below. Clefairy is a rare spawn, so it might take a while before we actually encounter one, especially with my luck. And after a couple of tries, we catch the Clefairy. Nice! So now all there is left to do is give the Clefairy a very eloquent name, and then it is time to save the game, as many of us have done so many times before in the old school games, and end this first episode of the Pink Pokemon team. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough as much as I have, and I hope you will join me again for episode 2.